everyone, it's a pleasure to have you join us. When Emmanuel Macron arrives in Nigeria this autumn, the world will be watching more than just a diplomatic ceremony. The French president's visit comes at a sensitive moment for France's relationship with Africa, as questions continue to grow over Paris' role on the continent and whether its approach has truly changed. Nigeria, Africa's largest country by population and one of its most influential economists, now finds themselves at the center of France's new African strategy. The announcement of Macron's state visit was made by France's ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Marc von Basten, during the celebration of France's National Day in Abuja. The ambassador described the announcement as a scoop, revealing that Macron would visit Nigeria 2 years after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's state visit to Paris. But beyond the official statements and diplomatic language, many observers are asking a much bigger question. Why is France's president choosing Nigeria at this particular moment? For decades, France maintained deep political, economic, and security relationships with several African countries, especially nations that were once part of its colonial empire. However, in recent years, those relationships have entered a period of uncertainty, with some African governments and citizens accusing France of maintaining excessive influence even after independence. The debate has sparked a major conversations about whether France's role in Africa represents the new partnership or an attempt to preserve old strategic interests. The growing criticism has become one of the biggest foreign policy challenges facing Paris and some former French colonies. Public anger has increased over issues ranging from military cooperation to economic relations, with critics demanding a new relationship based on equality and greater African control. Against this background, Macron's decision to visit Nigeria carries a different meaning because Nigeria was not a French colony and has historically maintained a separate diplomatic path. So what exactly does France want from Nigeria? Is Paris seeking a stronger economic partner, a strategic ally in West Africa, or a country that can help rebuild France's image across the continent? And for Nigeria, the question is equally important. What does Abuja gain from deepening its relationship with Paris at a time when African countries are demanding more balanced partnerships with foreign powers? Nigeria represents a unique opportunity for France. With more than 200 million people, vast natural resources, a growing technology sector, and significant political influence in West Africa, Nigeria is one of the few countries capable of shaping the future direction of the continent. Any major partnership with Abuja has implications far beyond Nigeria's borders. The French ambassador has repeatedly insisted that the relationship between both countries is built on equality and mutual respect. According to von Basten, Nigeria and France see each other as partners who can work together on common challenges rather than countries with unequal influence. But the question many Nigerians may ask is whether this equality will be reflected in actual agreements, investments, and opportunities. During Macron's visit, economic cooperation is expected to be a major focus. France has highlighted growing commercial ties between companies from both countries, including Carrefour and Hyper City, Accor, and Shoreline, as well as Canal Plus acquisition of MultiChoice. These developments show France's increasing interest in Nigeria's consumer market, entertainment industry, and business environment. However, every major economic partnership comes with difficult questions. Will these deals create more opportunities for Nigerian businesses and workers? Will Nigeria gain enough value from these partnerships? And can France convince Nigerians that their economic engagement is different from the concern raised in other parts of Africa? The issue of security is also expected to feature prominently during Macron's visit. Nigeria and France share concerns about terrorism and instability affecting parts of West Africa, particularly as extremist groups continue to threaten regional peace. France has presented itself as a partner in supporting countries fighting terrorism and strengthening security capabilities. But security cooperation with foreign powers has become a sensitive issue across Africa. Some critics argue that African nations must have greater control over their own security decisions rather than depending heavily on external partners. For Nigeria, the challenge will be finding cooperation that strengthens its capabilities while protecting its strategic independence. Agriculture and food security are another important area where both countries are expected to expand cooperation. Through the French Development Agency, France has supported agricultural projects aimed at improving food production, strengthening value chains, and creating better access to markets, especially in northern Nigeria and across the ECOWAS region. Yet, as with other areas of cooperation, Nigerians will likely be watching closely to see whether these projects deliver meaningful results. At a time when food prices and economic pressures remain major concerns, partnerships must translate into real benefits for ordinary citizens rather than remaining limited to government announcements. Perhaps the most intriguing part of Macron's upcoming visit is his personal connection to Nigeria. Before becoming president of France, Macron spent 6 months in Nigeria as a student. The French ambassador said that experience influenced Macron's understanding of Africa and helped shape his approach towards the continent. According to Van Bostia, Macron's African vision was partly shaped by his time in Nigeria, describing the country as a place that played a role in forming his perspective. But the question remains, can a personal connection overcome the political challenges surrounding France's relationship with Africa? For many Nigerians, Macron's visit will be judged not by speeches or symbolic gestures, but by what comes after. Will France offer a new model of partnership based on investment, respect, and shared interest? Or will critics argue that the same patterns of influence continue under a different name? The timing of the visit is also significant because Africa has become a major arena of global competition. Countries such as China, Russia, and the United States and European nations are all seeking stronger relationships with African governments. Nigeria's growing importance means that Abuja has more choices than ever before when deciding its international partners. This puts Nigeria in a powerful position. The country can negotiate partnerships based on its own priorities, whether in technology, infrastructure, security, agriculture, or trade. Macron's visit would therefore not only test France's commitment to Nigeria, but also demonstrate how Africa's biggest economies are redefining their relationships with global powers. When Emmanuel Macron steps onto Nigerian soil, The cameras will capture handshakes, ceremonies, and diplomatic smiles. But behind the scenes, a much deeper conversation will take place about history, influence, economic power, and the future of Africa's relationship with Europe. The biggest question surrounding this visit is simple but significant. Is France truly beginning a new chapter with Africa, or is Nigeria becoming the next major battleground in the struggle to maintain influence on the continent? The answer may determine not only the future of France-Nigeria relations, but also how Africa chooses to engage with former colonial powers in a rapidly changing world. For more updates and in-depth analysis, stay with us on News Express. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I am Cassie Tony, and many thanks for watching.